Welcome to Prepare for Takeoff. I'm the creator and host, Terry L. Cyrus. We're the podcast dedicated to amplifying Black excellence. Every week, we sit down with a proven professional or a rising entrepreneur. And this week, we're sitting down with entrepreneur, baker, DJ extraordinaire, Keshia Davis. Keshia, what's going on?
Hey, Terry. Glad to be here. Thank you for letting me tell my story.
Absolutely, look, we couldn't do it no other way. You're doing your thing in Philly. Shout out to Philly, North Philly to be exact. Stand up.
Yeah.
You came highly recommended, so we had to get you on the platform to tell your story. So salute to you and all of what you do. I know you didn't just start, you didn't land on third base. You know, you started in the dugout like many of us. You got it out the mud, and now you find yourself where you are. So with all that being said, you grew up in Philly, correct?
I did grow up in Philly. Yes, I did.
Okay.
Grew up uptown, though. I didn't grow up in North Philly. I grew up uptown.
Okay. Now, uptown is in Germantown?
Uptown as in Mount Airy.
Mount Airy. Okay, I was close. So Mount Airy, yeah.
I did live in Germantown at one point, but
all right. I'm familiar with Mount Airy. What was that like growing up in Mount Airy? That's an area that a lot of people aspire to want to move to, especially if you're in like other parts of the city, especially in North Philly, Logan, Albany, and all those kind of places. So what was it like growing up in Mount Airy for you?
Fun. Middle class. I went to Catholic school till like 8th grade, but being outside it felt free and fun. I'm just trying to remember being a kid, in the 80s and the 90s, just running around, being free and fun. Now I think it's probably a little bit different, but it's probably about the same, where you aspire to get to Mount Airy. It is a middle class, but the neighborhood did change just a little bit, but back then it was very quiet.
I know the people who were born and raised in Philly, they held Mount Airy in high esteem, and you're on the borderline of Cheltenham. You're right in the city, but you're bordering the suburbs. So everybody has grasses, driveways, the whole nine. So
I mean, things went on, but it was just a little bit more covert. Like things went on at night, I guess, and things went on, but it just wasn't all in your face.
Okay.
So now you went today, but yeah.
Right. So you went to Catholic school, and then at some point you transitioned to Penn State, correct?
Right. Not before going to Central, which is the best high school in the city.
Okay.
So Central High School. But yes, I went to Penn State.
We'll kind of rewind it back. So what was it like going to Central? I'm familiar with that school as well.
Yeah, Central was cool. Central was everybody is the top person in their class, right? When you get to Central. And it's very diverse, very multicultural. And so it was a very good experience to even coming out of your neighborhood and seeing all the diverse cultures, all these different clubs, and every different kind of person you can think of went to Central. And that was a good preparation for even going to Penn State, which is a nice little microcosm for what we call America today. Yeah, it was a good experience.
What was that transition like? No, the demographics of Philadelphia are far different from the demographics of State College, PA. What was that adjustment like? And granted, I know there's enough Black folk there on campus.
It was enough.
Right. But the town itself, I'm sure, reminded you that you're clearly a minority.
We're talking about 50,000 students and about 1 to 2% Black or minority, right? But the great thing about being there was that we had us. So, every time we walk past another Black person, you want to speak, hey, what's up?
Right.
We hung out together. We had our own spots to hang out at Penn State. So it was very much still a community, albeit a little small one. We were tight.
That really kind of lends itself to where you may find yourself after college, because you were rooted in community. Maybe you grew up around far more people of color, to say the least, in Philly. Then you knew what it was like to be in an environment where, okay, it's just us. So then when you bake all that together, being somewhere where you may be the majority and then going somewhere where you're a stark minority, and then you bake that all together, hence who you are as a baker. Now, when you show up professionally, you have a high appreciation when you see other people of color. And more importantly, you have a high opinion of self based on how you were rooted in the community growing up. Is that a safe assessment?
That, right. Not only the high opinion of self, but now you feel that obligation, because all we got is us, right? Even in our community. I'm back in North Philly, but all we got is us, right? So we should look out for each other, right? And so that is the obligation that we should feel. And so, we felt that obligation back in college. We got to bring that back to the community. for sure.
I agree. And one of the things that I think has also tied many of us together to have that same mindset is the Divine Nine. I know you're a proud member of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated. What impact did joining the sorority have on you and who the woman that we see today?
Well, the Deltas ran the yard, first of all, but I mean, we run everything.
Mm-hmm.
So when it comes to social action, being the top in scholarship, and just overall empowerment, the Deltas do that, right? But just didn't need to be a Delta to do that because I was around that my whole life, being in the family that I was in and the community that I was in. But that it just helped me explore that part of myself. I grew up, I was an only child, so I didn't even have cousins growing up. So it's great to have sisters and brothers like yourself. It's great to have that, and it's great to have the network to be able to, if there's anything that you want to do, anything you aspire to do, all you got to do is ask somebody. You know, I'm thinking about doing this thing. Oh, I know somebody who can do that. And then, you know, sorors and bros will definitely know who to connect you with. Case in point here, Terry. So yeah, yeah, it's nice to have that network, but then also that outlet for that feeling of being connected through your community.
Keshia in North Philly, giving back in the community as an entrepreneur. But we're going to get into that. But first, I want to give you the opportunity to highlight the fact that not only are you a baker, you're a DJ, and you've been DJing for a minute.
A minute.
So talk us through what led to you DJing. Was that always a passion of yours?
I always loved music. I was always that one that was recording the mixes off the radio, or if there was a party, I'm putting the tape together,
Right.
and we're gonna play the tape at the party. So yeah, you know, I'm a kid of the '90s, so that's
Mm-hmm.
what we did. But yeah, I always loved music. My mom used to play music a lot, and so I was always messing around, listening into her records, to her 8 tracks. Like I was listening to her music.
Right.
And I just love the music from say the '70s and the '80s. And then when hip hop came on the scene, it's like that's our soul. At least that's my soul. So I love classic hip hop. I love hip hop in general, but that classic music that moves your soul, that is my sweet spot. That's what I love to spin. So yeah, I've been spinning since '99, right after I graduated.
Wow. So now, were there any barriers being a female DJ segueing into DJing, or was that actually a plus since there wasn't maybe as many DJs that were females?
Especially back then, right? So for me, I don't think there were too many barriers. I mean, the only barrier, like if somebody referred me, it's like, well, can you really DJ? All right, they referred you, right? they referred me, right?
Right.
But only, yeah, that's about it. I mean, and I think that might come with most DJs. But yeah, I mean, I've been blessed to be able to be in a room, and then you know get referred to different organizations, and I have done tons of different kinds of parties over the years. So yeah, I've been blessed.
I'm always in awe of women who are doing their thing in hip hop. And shout out to my homegirl, DJ Coco Chanel. She's on the radio here in New York City. And I've been able to watch other people ascend, in Philly included, DJ Diamond Cuts, among others. I see you in that same regard. You doing your thing in the D9, you're doing your things in those private event spaces. And not only did you have the duality of that, but at some point you realized, I want to be an entrepreneur. So how did that start for you?
Well, that kind of came out of necessity. Like I had to do it. So I had been in sales my whole life. I've sold all kinds of things, mainly large IT systems. And then my aunt always had this business. I don't want to say always, but since '91, she had this business. We had a fire in 2015, came back in 2016, and her energy just wasn't the same. And she was ready to retire. So she was ready to retire in 2018. And she kind of shopping the business. It's like, oh, yeah, we need to keep this business in the community and in the family. And I already told y'all I don't have any cousins or sisters or brothers, right? So we had to do it. Like I had to carry on a legacy. I wanted the name to be the same. I wanted the recipes to be the same. I wanted that same good feeling that people get when they have a Denise's cake or they just experience Denise's, I wanted it to be the same. And if she sold it to somebody else, it wasn't going to be the same, and we knew that. So that's what I had to do. That's what I felt like my obligation.
Give our viewers and listeners, I want to like have them to like remember and bake in their minds what the name of that business is.
Oh, it's Denise's Delicacies. So we are in North Philly, 2916 North 22nd Street. We're not too far from Temple University. But we are known as, I will say, Philly Sweetheart. We're an iconic business in this city. And it's really because the community, we love the community and they love us back. And so they show up year after year, occasion after occasion, generation after generation. We help them celebrate their life's most momentous occasions. And we just love being a part of that. And they tell us that. And so we just thank them back for that.
I like that, Philly Sweetheart. Look, that's a bar right there. If we're talking about music, that's a bar. I didn't know you was an MC as well.
Well, back in the day when I was in Central, I used to write some bars, but we're not going to talk about that.
Okay, all right.
We're not going to talk about that lunchroom kind of stuff. We're not going to talk about
Right, you was always musically inclined. If somebody wanted it, you can give them a hot 16 if necessary.
If they so really wanted that. No, we're not going to do that.
Right. They, you know what I'm saying? We ain't going to go there, but we'll save some for the imagination. Like, she could have been MC Light if she wanted to, but she said, let me go ahead and go another route and do my thing and would still show up among the greats. I know you said you guys are a staple in the community, but talk us through some of the things you guys have done as far as supporting people in the community.
Well, I mean, simply for us, which has always been, we hire from the community, right? And we talked a little earlier, Terry, about, people have certain circumstances that they can or cannot help. Well, at this point on, when you meet us, here's how we're going to help you, right? We can give you a job. We want to teach you how to work. We want to teach you how to be better co-workers, team members, because we know this may not be your last job. Giving them some skills and then also some mentorship, like some auntie advice every now and then, maybe solicited or unsolicited. Listen, you're messing up out here. So let me show you how to, do this a little better, fly straight, but being examples of excellence is what I'm going to say. So, when we hire people, we say the bar is not just good enough. It's always superlative. It must be excellent. If you shoot for excellence, you want to get pretty close to it. But if you shoot for just good enough, you're probably not even going to get that good, right? So that is what comes through in how we serve our customers, how we present our products, and then how we bake it, right? How we put all the love into it, because and sometimes we do miss the mark. I can't say that every day everybody gets it just right, but it's our goal to be excellent. And so when people come into this business, I hope that's what they feel. And I hope that's what they see.
Thinking about starting your own business? Make it real with Shopify, the all-in-one platform trusted by millions to sell online and in person. Whether it's merch, art, or digital goods, Shopify gives you the tools to build, grow, and succeed. And here's the best part. When you sign up using the affiliate link in our show notes, you're supporting Prepare for Takeoff and starting your business off right. Click the link and start your free trial today. Talk us through what allowed you to embrace the idea of coming behind the curtain, coming from the kitchen to the living rooms of all of Americans from East to West Coast.
Right. A blessing. I was shout that out first. It was a blessing. So we had some exposure off and on through the news. We've been here for 36 some odd years. We would be on the news. We've won awards. Even that had been a little nerve-wracking to be behind a camera. I got approached to do a pilot for a dessert demonstration show on Eat This TV, which is a network on all the streaming platforms. And then they have a station and like some of those other cable networks, right? So they said if the pilot does well, we'll give you your own season, which is 12 episodes. And they call it like season 1. And so even that sounds like, all right, well, let me just see how this pilot goes. And so I did it, and very nervous behind the scenes because, quite frankly, I'm not a baker. I can cook, I can bake, but my aunt and my mom and my grandmother, they were bakers, right? For me, I've just been around it my whole life, but I never really considered myself to be that until I had to be that, and then I became that, right?
Right.
So the pilot went well, and they gave me my 12 episodes. I shot the 12 episodes actually 2 weeks ago. And they said, okay, season one went well. We'll do season two in the fall. It's like, what? Okay. So that's an amazing experience and a blessing, like I said. So I can't wait for my show to air. I'll tell you all about it. Eat This TV is on a prime time slot. They're giving me 7:30 every day p.m. to be in everybody's home while you're home thinking about dessert. So it's a blessing.
I believe you guys shot in New York City, correct?
We did. Yeah, we sure did. It
Wow.
was an experience.
It's one thing to know what tomorrow holds. It's another thing to have no idea what tomorrow holds, but embrace that because that's an opportunity to grow.
For sure. And I will say this, Terry, out of that opportunity spawned so many different opportunities. And what I see is the opportunities just abounding because we talked about this earlier. You're going to be in a position to take full possession of the resources now that have been presented to you. Oh, take advantage of them. And so, and I'm not saying take advantage, but then you'll be put in places and rooms that you hadn't been before. Have those conversations and see how you can leverage those resources to even get to a greater space. So, more things are happening, is all I'm saying. More things are happening. And that this time last year, I wouldn't even have dreamed of.
I'm the kind of person, I can work the room, but I want to set up the room and then watch the room go in motion.
Yeah.
But as opportunities continue to present itself, I had to welcome new opportunities. And it sounds like that's what you're doing as well.
Yes, it's happening. Like it's totally happening now. For instance, as a result of the show, the producers hooked me up with a cookbook publishing company, right? And so the show should be airing within the next week or so. And so we're rushing to produce this cookbook to accompany the show. And the cookbook and the show, all of it is a testament to the legacy that of my aunt and my family. And so it's all being tied back to the legacy. But the cookbook is coming right along with it. So we'll have a press release, we'll have a book signing. I mean, and then there's another show that I'll be doing to tell my story about the legacy. So, like I said, these doors just keep opening and opening, and I'm curious, to see where else we can go.
Sky's the
Now
limit.
that we're on the path, let's go.
Sky's the limit. And think about how it all started. God allowed you to go through all those different career journeys in sales, and he allowed that burnout to become a reality. And it became a reality a lot earlier than it may happen for other people. And it happened early enough in your career journey, you was able to start a new career. So what would have happened if you wouldn't have listened to your spirit? And you would have said, hey, this is what I know. I make great money. There's always, an opportunity for me in sales because I have so much experience in doing it. But you would have been miserable. Now look at you. Your best days are ahead of you. A lot of times people, if they've been doing something for 20 or 30 years, they feel like my best days are behind me. And as a result, that can weigh on your spirit. All of the things you're sharing with me is getting greater later. Cookbooks, TV, podcasts, still spinning.
I got a t-shirt that says I'm out here doing all the things. And that's the way I feel, right? Like, I've been blessed to have talents, but then, and also outlets to be able to do these things, and to be able to tie it back and show people that you can do what you want to do if you really want to do these things, right? I remember when I was younger, back when Oprah was like super huge, and I used to tell my aunt, I can get you on Oprah. Now, I didn't know Oprah, and I didn't know anybody who knew Oprah, but I figured with all the people that I did know that we could get there. Like, she was just like, no, we don't want to do that. Okay, all right, you don't want to do that, then I won't try to figure it out. But I was going to try to figure it out just from, and I was probably like 22, 23 years old. But I figured I got to know somebody who knows somebody who knows somebody, and I'm going to figure it out if you say the word. So my whole point is, if you want it bad enough, figure it out. Figure it out. You'll fail a couple times, but then get up and figure it out.
I think one of the things that kind of helps us stay on that path and remain steadfast is discovering our passion and allowing that passion to lead us to our purpose. You seem to have always had that passion in your spirit. You and I share that. I always had the mindset that I can do anything I put my mind to. I came up here with a mindset. I didn't come here to be mediocre. I came here to be great. I can see some of the people who may have been hating on some of the things that I wanted to do. And a lot of those same people, they are still kind of prisoners of their own minds, because now, and it wasn't necessarily, dare I say, them hating. It was them just projecting their mindset onto me.
Yeah, I was going to say that. Yeah.
They didn't see it for themselves. So how can they see it for me? And now people like you and I, we're at a certain stage of our lives where we're living a reality that many of us may not have anticipated for us. Now those people in their 40s and 50s are becoming inspired to do things and become individuals that are doing things outside of their career or are tapping into their entrepreneurial gift. My fraternity brother, who I recently had on the show, Rashawn McDonald, who's the architect behind Steve Harvey's career, what he said is never too late. You can be 50, 60, 70. It's never too late. You know when it's too late? When you shut your eyes. That's when it's too late.
I feel like my path was what it was because it was necessary. And we talked about, you said 2 P words, that's passion and purpose. I don't know if I would have known my purpose 10 years ago. Shoot, 5 years ago. It's until recently, every day when my feet hit the floor, I'm like, I know what my purpose is. And it is to be excellent, to be that pillar in the community that people are looking at, and to pour into people. That is my purpose. But everything I've done in my life, and like I said, I've sold everything, and then I got tired of selling stuff, and I was a project manager, and I solved a lot of business problems. But if I hadn't had those experiences, I probably would not have had the resilience that I needed to be in business, because when people say entrepreneurship is not for the faint of heart and it is not for the weak, it is not. Like there are days that you're going to hear a lot of no's, more no's than you're going to get yeses. Not everybody's going to love you. Not everybody is going to think this cake is delicious. So, your feelings going to get hurt. So just being resilient and knowing how to navigate through objections or through people's needs before they even present those needs, that just helps you be a stronger business owner, and then ultimately a stronger problem solver for your business, because your business is going to have problems unless you were the person that invented sliced bread, I suppose. But there will be problems. And I always quote Nelson Mandela. He says, I never lose, I either win or I learn. So every time we fall down, what did I learn? I mean, there are failures, there are pivots, there are things that we've got to do that didn't go as planned, but what went wrong with that, so we can go with the next plan. But it's getting to the next plan and not saying, oh, I can't do it. You got to do it because you said you want to do this. So we can't fail. Now,
Right.
For me, I definitely can't fail because I took over this business and it's on me. I can't, I bought this business to continue the name. It cannot fail. So I got to do all kinds of things to make sure that this business continues on and thrives, because it can't fail. So that's the way I look at it.
For me, every opportunity, everything that doesn't go or everything that does go according to plan, there's an opportunity. How can I, if I succeed, how can I be even more successful? And if I, dare I say, failed, how can I learn? Because I didn't fail. There was an opportunity for me to learn how to succeed. And that way I'm prepared as things continue to come my way. I know how to navigate that. So with all that being said, because you do all the things, now how do you do the personal thing? Are you just consuming working all the time, or do you carve out a period in time and say, listen, after this time, I'm on personal time? How does that work for you? This episode of Prepare for Takeoff is brought to you in part by Riverside, the platform that I trust to record studio quality podcasts right from my laptop. With Riverside, I get crystal clear audio and 4K video. Plus, it's super easy to use. Whether you're a beginner or a pro, Riverside helps your podcast sound amazing. Try it out for yourself. Click the affiliate link in our show notes and start recording like a pro with Riverside.
Well, I definitely take time to take care of my physical body. So in the morning, that's a workout. And I do kickboxing 4 times a week. So I
punch
and kick that bag so I don't have to punch and kick people. No, I would never do that. I would never do that. But no, I try to be very mindful about taking that time to myself. Being an only child, I'm very used to my alone time. So just having that in the morning, there's prayer, there's meditation. Once I walk through these doors, I rarely do get a moment to myself at the business. And the business is, for the most part, kind of 24 hours because we got bakers that work at night or early morning. So having to be available, but then when I can't be available, just saying, listen, table that or empower other people to be able to take care of it. But I take vacations and I definitely do DJ. You know, I do it 2 or 3 times. It's not that I'm DJing at a club or anything every weekend, but 2 or 3 times a month, that's my outlet. I like passion to see this thing come together every day. So it's not as much work. It's hard work, but it's not as daunting as it could be. Because if that were the case, then I think I would be seeking to do something else.
It's always a blessing to be surrounded by like-minded individuals, especially people who are sisters of mine in DST. Not only is my sister a Delta, my niece is a Delta. And as I mentioned,
you're surrounded by the best people there.
Absolutely. And as I mentioned, my brother's a Q. So, we're a Delta Q family. Wanted to thank you for spending so much time with us. I wanted to give you the opportunity to share with our viewers and listeners 3 things that you feel will help them prepare for takeoff.
Well, first I'm going to say follow your heart, right? As I said before, if it's something that you feel drawn to do, figure it out. What resources do you need? And then go. You'll figure it out along the way. Yes, you can plan. You should have a plan, but do the plan as you're figuring it out. So that will help you refine your plan, right? As you can see, it is not too late to discover what your purpose is. I'm a 47-year-old woman that just figured out my purpose is actually empowering people and letting my light shine and showing them that excellence is the way, right? So if you shoot for excellence, then we are going to live in greatness. So it's not too late to start living. That being said, the things that you were doing before led to this moment. So don't throw all that in the trash, right? Mm-hmm. Like all the things that I've done, all the no's, all the silly little jobs. Oh, I've had some silly little jobs as, in my 20s. And then all the resources that I've accumulated along the way, all the degrees that I've acquired and all the schooling that I've had. Look at me now. I can apply just about all those things into different scenarios in my business to help it grow or even help people. When they ask me, like, I am the expert on these things. It's like, yeah, I'm the expert on messing stuff up. But it's that recovery that I think has propelled me to where I'm at.
Share with our viewers and listeners, is there a website, social media handles? How can they tap in with you and continue to watch your journey and as you continue to ascend?
So we're on Instagram at Cakes by DENISE'S. We have a website. It's cakesbydenises.com. Pretty soon we will be shipping our renowned pound cake. So that'll be cakesbydenises.com. So look for that. And then also, like I said, look for that cookbook that's coming, Denise's Delicacies with Chef Keshia, and Eat This TV is where you will be able to see Chef Keshia doing some, showing you some great dessert ideas. So we'll see what else comes in the future that I can tell you about later, Terry. So.
Let's say some of our viewers and listeners want to book you. How do they go about booking you and bring you in so you can spin on the 1s and 2s?
Hit me up on Instagram at Misstique397. That's ISSTIQUE 397. And you could definitely book me for a party.
Keshia, you are definitely the embodiment of Black excellence, to say the least.
Thank you, Terry.
We're so happy to give you a platform to share your story and continue to inspire others. Definitely inspired me, to say the least. And, I'm sure our viewers and listeners, they've gotten a lot of nourishment from all of your words and all of the things that you've managed to accomplish. And we're definitely going to be tuning in to check out Chef Keshia do her thing. Season 1, we look forward to season 2, the cookbook. You might have to order me a pound cake, all of that.
All of that. Do all those things.
All the things. All the things. Well,
So thank you
again,
for having me on, Terry. It was a pleasure to be even able to share my story. I really appreciate it.
I'm glad you gave us so much of your time because I know you're spending so much time in your purpose and that requires a lot of work. And for you to carve out so much time to give us the opportunity to give you your flowers, I thank you for the time you've extended to us and much continued success. And I look forward to all of the great things that lie ahead.
Thank you so much.
Just know that we're cheering you on, and we'll be spreading the word about Chef Keshia, as well as somebody that you can book to DJ your party on the ones and twos, whether you're in Philly, whether you're in New York, Jersey. We definitely
turntables will travel. Is all
your turntables travel. I'm sure they travel internationally. Wanted to take the time to thank our viewers and listeners. Couldn't do it without you. Whether you're watching us on Spotify or you're watching us on YouTube, whether you're listening on Amazon Music, Apple Podcasts, Audible, iHeart, or Pandora. As you know, every week we drop new episodes as we feature proven professionals and rising entrepreneurs, and all of these conversations, just like this one, will help you prepare for takeoff. Keshia, thanks for joining us.
Thank you so much again, Terry. And thank you, everybody, for tuning in.